Hi, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. Today I'm going to share with you the Christian fiction books that I could find that are releasing in March 2025. As always, I have not read any of these books, so I don't know exactly what the content is like, but these are books that I found that are listed as Christian fiction on Amazon. If you know of any other books that are coming out, please do leave them in the comments below. I am going to go through them in separated into different genres, so feel free to skip to the one that you are most interested in finding out about. There are slightly less books in this month's video just because I think the Love Inspired books have slightly changed the date. Normally they release books at the end of the month, and for some reason in April they're releasing at the beginning of April and the end of April, so next month's video is going to be enormous, but slightly less this month to go through. So also let me know in the comments as we're going through if any of these books are books that you would like to read. In Mystery and Suspense, Ambush by Colleen Coble releases on the 4th of March and is published by Thomas Nelson. Paradise Alden's childhood in Nova Cambridge, Alabama was idyllic until the night her parents were murdered. Since then, life has left her scarred. The abuse she suffered in the foster care system, her first love's betrayal, and the Jaguar attack that nearly destroyed her career have led to an unshakable distrust in men, in God, and maybe in even herself. After 15 years, returning to her hometown is a last resort to finding her life again. She's hoping the wildlife refuge where she's accepted a veterinarian job will be the perfect place to heal from her recent traumas and unlock her memories about the night her parents died. But the day she arrives at the sanctuary, a body is discovered on the grounds, and soon a series of deadly events threaten not only her future, but the man who, despite all odds, still makes her pulse stutter. Arson, a shooting, a break-in, and multiple instances of animals being freed from their enclosures all point back to him, but Paradise knows Blake Lawson isn't responsible. Not the man who has been helping his mother manage the sanctuary these past 6 months and care for his stepbrothers in the wake of their father's death, even if his betrayal years ago cost her everything. Someone dangerous is lurking beneath the town's moss-draped trees, and Paradise refuses to let another murderer disappear into the shadows. Every Deadly Suspicion by Janice Cantore releases on the 4th of March and is published by Tyndale Fiction. 30 years after a federal agent and 2 suspects disappeared in the wilderness, the case is cold, and they've never been found. Now their suspected killer is about to go free, but is the truth really what it seems? In Dry Oaks, California, Chief of Police Hannah Keyes has long believed her father, Joe, is a murderer, justly imprisoned for his crimes. When she's told he's dying and is being given compassionate release from prison, she wants nothing to do with him. But taking him in might be Hannah's one shot at cracking the cold case of his alleged murders, so she reluctantly agrees to oversee his care. Joe's arrival in Dry Oaks seems to set off a chain reaction of crimes. Then an infamous true crime podcaster comes sniffing for information, and Hannah's first love, Jared, shows up just when she needs distractions the least. As Hannah tries to convince Joe to reveal what he knows about the missing persons, evidence in the cold case surfaces at a suspiciously rapid pace, suggesting there's more to the murders than people thought. With Joe's strength failing, Hannah and her colleagues look for answers, not only about the past but also about recent criminal dealings in Dry Oaks. As the puzzle pieces start to fit together, it becomes clear that there's a sinister plot at work, far more wide-reaching than anyone suspected, and that someone is desperate to silence the truth at any cost. Rescue Duty by Lisa Phillips and Laura Conaway releases on the 11th of March and is published by Sunrise Publishing. After growing up in foster care, investigative reporter Nia Mehl has learned there's usually more to a situation than meets the eye. When she's assigned a story about the current water contamination crisis in town, Nia is ready to show her boss she has what it takes to secure a promotion, especially since the events surrounding the story have personal ties to her childhood. When her investigation makes her the target of someone who wants the truth kept quiet, How far will Naya's determination take her before the cost becomes too much? Rescue squad firefighter and former foster kid Zach Stevens is ready to step up his game at work when his boss hands him a cold case for hazmat training. As Zach delves into the case, he uncovers a shocking revelation. His parents' deaths weren't accidental. Determined to find their murderer, Zach throws himself into the investigation, but he doesn't expect his search to collide with Naya, the girl he promised to protect when they lived in foster care together. As threats mount and Naya is caught in the crosshairs, can Zach reconcile the mistakes of his past and find a killer before someone deals a lethal blow? And can the two of them learn to trust and love each other again despite the pain of their past? Break My Fall by Lynn H. Blackburn releases on the 18th of March and is published by Revell. Dr. Meredith Quinn always planned to return to Gossamer Falls to practice dentistry. Now that she's back home, she's made it a point to offer clinics to children and adults in nearby underserved areas. Unfortunately, those same areas are known to harbour drug traffickers, and Police Chief Grayson Ward suspects that local law enforcement is looking the other way. After too many losses, Grayson has closed off his heart, but when Meredith enters his life, his walls crumble and he's left exposed and vulnerable. To keep her alive, he must keep her close, but that makes it impossible for him to retreat and rebuild. Will she be the one who finally helps him emerge from isolation, or will this force of nature leave him shattered? Shattered Sanctuary by Nancy Mehl releases on the 18th of March and is published by Bethany House. Grappling with the aftermath of a tragic incident that altered her life, ex-police officer and best-selling mystery author Erin Delaney finds solace in the tranquility of a cabin nestled deep in the Smoky Mountains. But her newfound peace is shattered when cries pierce the night, hinting at a haunting presence lurking in the woods. When local police chief Adrian Nightingale seeks her help with a baffling murder case, she is thrust back into the world of crime solving. As they delve into the investigation, Erin's intuition reveals chilling truths about the killer's motives and methods. Joined by the enigmatic Kaylee Quinn Hunter, a former FBI behavioral analyst, Erin not only embarks on a quest to stop a merciless serial killer, but also confronts the ghosts of her past. In a race against time, Erin must defeat her own demons while outmaneuvering a cunning killer or risk becoming the next victim in a deadly game of cat and mouse. The Novel Adventures of Natalie Daughtry by Susan L. Tuttle releases on the 18th of March and is published by Coble Publications. In pursuit of a rare book, will Natalie and Mason find each other again? With her 20-plus year marriage on the brink of collapse, bookish Natalie Daughtry immerses herself in her new bookstore job. When the mysterious Casper gathers Natalie and her friends Everly and Brooke for the second time, she's ready for an adventure to disperse the turmoil clouding her marriage. Casper enlists their help in searching for a rumoured copy of Lewis Carroll's handwritten and illustrated manuscript of Alice's Adventures Underground. Natalie is immediately enticed. This is the perfect distraction. But then Mason joins the team, and suddenly Natalie and her husband are side by side on the search for this elusive treasure. Being forced to work together has them tumbling deep into their past, seeking answers to old misunderstandings. When they emerge from the rabbit hole, things aren't the same. Will they rediscover the love that once held the pages of their life together? In historical fiction, Written in Secret by Crystal Caudill releases on the 11th of March and is published by Coble Publications. What happens when fiction becomes reality? In the corruption-infested Queen City, danger lurks in every shadow, but Lydia Pelton refuses to stay silent. She writes under a pseudonym, E.A. Dupin, crafting crime novels to exact justice and right the wrongs she sees in society. When a serial killer decides to be the sword to her pen, Lydia is confronted with the consequences of her words. 4 men are dead and the city blames her. With murders on the rise, Officer Abraham Hall's only lead is Lydia's fiction, and he is thrust into an investigation with the killer queen of romance. Despite his misgivings about the woman, he realizes that even with his reputation for catching elusive criminals, he needs her help. But his unexpected attraction to Lydia proves as difficult to manage as the woman herself. As the mystery unfolds, Abraham and Lydia race to rewrite the ending, not only for Cincinnati's citizens, but for their own hearts too. When the Sky Burned by Liz Tolsma releases on the 1st of March and is published by Barber Fiction. Promising painter Mariah Randolph longs to have her canvases displayed in the world's best museums, and Hollis Stanford, the heir of a railroad tycoon, is her ticket to success. The railroad's bookkeeper, J. Franklin, discovers discrepancies and is convinced that Hollis is stealing from the company, but any proof of his dirty dealings goes up in smoke when fire utterly destroys the town of Peshtigo, Wisconsin, October 8, 1871. The fire leaves Mariah blind, but Jay befriends her and even helps her to start painting again. But a trip to Chicago to return Hollis's daughter to him could put both Mariah and Jay in more danger than even the fire that devastated the town and their lives. A Constant Love by Tracie Peterson releases on the 12th of March and is published by Bethany House. In the wake of a harsh winter, Micah Hamilton and Charlotte Aldrich are grappling with loss and guilt after the disaster that took the lives of their loved ones. Struggling to cope with his grief, Micah abandons his father's dream of a prosperous ranch and cuts himself off from the rest of the world. Charlotte has loved Micah her entire life and is determined not to lose him as well. With her mother's help, she begins coaxing Micah to live again. Despite their enduring heartache, the affection between them deepens, but just as Charlotte thinks her dreams may come true, a scorned suitor threatens everything she holds dear. Micah and Charlotte will have to embark on a journey of healing and restoration if they want to forge a future built on love, faith, and hope. The Filling Station by Vanessa Miller releases on the 11th of March and is published by Thomas Nelson. Two Sisters, One Unassuming Haven, Endless Opportunities for Grace. During Jim Crow America, there was only one place Black Americans could safely refuel their vehicles along what would eventually become iconic Route 66. But more than just a place to refuel, it was a place to fill up the soul, build community and find strength. For Two Sisters, the 3-act filling station became the safe haven they needed after escaping the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. After looking in the face of evil and leaving her whole world behind, Margaret Justice wants nothing more than to feel safe and hold tight to what she has left. Her sister Evelyn, meanwhile, is a dreamer who longs for adventure and to follow her heart, even though she's been told repeatedly to not dream too big. As they both grapple with love, loss, and racism, Margaret and Evelyn realize that they can't hide out at the filling station when Greenwood and their father's legacy needs to be rebuilt. Going back will take strength they're not sure they have, but for the love of Greenwood, they will risk it all and just may be the catalyst to bring Black Wall Street back to its former glory. Hope's Enduring Echo by Kim Vogel Sawyer releases on the 25th of March and is published by Waterbrick. Geology student Leo Day has been waiting for a big find to prove his career path is worthy to his father. While riding the train along the Arkansas River in Cannon City, Colorado, Leo spots a young woman waving at the passing cars holding something that looks like a piece of fossilized bone. He catches up to the girl after leaping from the slow train, and his pulse gallops when he recognizes it as a rib bone from a smaller dinosaur species, most likely an Allosaurus. She confides she's found several similar bones, and he asks her to show him where. Whether it was loneliness or boredom that led Jenny Ward to leave the waterline and escort this stranger to the place where her daddy's border collie and had unearthed several bones, she couldn't say, but she enjoys visiting with him. Could he become the friend she's been praying for? As he leaves, he promises to return soon and asks if she'll be his guide. She has little time for socializing, given her responsibility to the waterworks due to her father's injury and aftermath, but the opportunity to gain a friend is too hard to resist. She agrees. As the weeks pass, Leo, a man longing for a father's approval, and Jenny, a girl trapped by her loyalty to a despondent father, become friends and confidants, and God's plan for both Leo's and Jenny's futures will unfold like an excavation of dinosaur bones. His Unforgettable Bride by Jody Hedlund and Patti Stockdale releases on the 25th of March and is published by Sunrise Publishing. A pickpocket-turned lady and a prince with a forgotten past find love in the most unexpected place. Juliette Dash, orphan and former pickpocket, yearns to leave her troubled past behind, so when she arrives in British Columbia and takes a respectable job working for a pair of society sisters who offer to give her etiquette lessons, she's one step closer to that dream. But when an unexpected encounter with an unconscious man turns her world upside down, Juliette must choose between her heart and her aspirations. Weary of the pressure of royal life, Prince Henry Greyton longs for solace and anonymity. But when tragedy strikes and his brother winds up dead, Henry finds himself thrust into the role of heir apparent, leaving him to struggle with the weight of his grief and unwanted responsibility. And when Henry is kidnapped, he narrowly escapes with his life, but loses his memories in the process. In his darkest hour, a beacon of hope emerges in the form of Juliette, his saviour and the key to unlocking his forgotten past. With danger lurking at every turn and the weight of Henry's royal duties looming over them, can their budding romance withstand the trials that lie ahead, or will Juliette be forced to sacrifice her own happiness for the sake of Henry's kingdom? In biblical fiction, The Daughter of Rome by Angela Hunt releases on the 4th of March and is published by Bethany House. In Nero's Rome, Calandra helps her father, a renowned sculptor, complete the most significant commission of his illustrious career, but then a catastrophic fire nearly destroys the imperial city, leaving Calandra reliant on a group of Christians, unusual individuals unlike any she has encountered before. Intrigued by their worship of the son of an invisible god, Calandra grapples with her mistrust, only to find herself indebted to these believers as they help her rebuild her shattered world. When Emperor Nero begins constructing his opulent golden house, the people of Rome grow resentful, suspecting him of setting the fire in order to clear the land for his immense palace. Needing a scapegoat, Nero points to those who follow the Jewish Messiah, forcing Calandra to make an impossible choice between right and wrong, friends and family, love and death. The Pharisee's Wife by Janette Oake releases on the 11th of March and is published by Tyndale Fiction. Like most young women in ancient Israel, Mary has little control over her own destiny. When Enos, a rising Pharisee, sees her one day in the market, the most beautiful woman he has ever laid eyes on, and determines to make her his wife, Mary's fate is quickly sealed. His exorbitant bride price is the only hope her parents have of rising out of abject poverty, but surely the fact that such a devout and esteemed man has chosen a girl of her station must be a sign of blessing. When Mary enters training to become the proper Pharisee's wife, it is as though she has been abandoned in a foreign land, where one misstep could cost her greatly. That feeling only deepens when she discovers Enos is all she feared he might be, treating her merely as a prize he has won, and worse. Then rumours of a miracle-working travelling prophet change everything, and Mary and Enos are swept up in events that will challenge all they hold dear and forever alter both their futures. In contemporary romance, Welcome to the Honey B&B by Melody Carlson releases on the 4th of March and is published by Revell. After years in San Jose, Jewel Benedict is going home to Oregon to help care for her father, who has early onset dementia. Easier said than done. Jewel's 13-year-old daughter is upset about the move. Her absent-minded beekeeper dad is a humorous handful. Her mum is overworked and overwhelmed. Her finances are stretched tight, and according to her father, the neighbours are troublesome. To make some needed money, Jewel convinces her parents to turn the decrepit farmhouse into a B&B. Soon her old high school flame turned contractor steps in to help, but Jewel questions whether he is trustworthy. Those troublesome neighbours, a handsome widower and his teenage daughter, just might be the key to making all this work. Along the way, they'll all discover that it takes a village to keep a man with dementia and a goofy sense of humour from unravelling everything. Northargyle Abbie by Janelle Leonard releases on the 17th of March and is published by White Crown Publishing. When Abigail Morgan, a naive pastor's daughter with an overactive imagination, inherits a cottage in Australia, she never imagines the story it will unlock. Armed with a museum studies degree and a penchant for daydreams, Abigail heads to Hyacinth Cottage to unravel the truth of her grandmother's past. an unknown world of adventure, deception and love. While sifting through letters, photographs and hidden relics, Abigail meets Coulter Wellesley, a charming local who helps her navigate the labyrinth of clues with a blend of wit and charm she struggles to resist. But Coulter comes with secrets of his own. As their investigation and romance deepen, Abigail wonders if Coulter is more tangled up in her grandmother's mystery and that of the princess who vanished more than 60 years ago than she ever imagined. In this modern reimagining of Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey, the line between imagination and reality blurs, and every clue discovered could be the key to unlocking a royal legacy. Kate Landry Has a Plan by Rebecca Millett releases on the 18th of March and is published by Bethany House. 40-year-old Kate Landry's carefully planned life has become as messy as the powdered sugar on her famous beignets. Juggling the responsibilities of running her cafe, raising her teenage niece, and the emotional baggage from her breakup, Kate finds her world once again turned upside down when her first ever crush, Micah, returns to town as the hunky local librarian. As Kate struggles to implement her plans to expand her cafe amid the New Orleans Mardi Gras madness and the meddling of her conniving ex-fiancé, Micah becomes the unwitting hero of her misadventures, stirring up feelings she thought she'd long buried. How can falling in love in the Big Easy be this hard? In fantasy and sci-fi, Above the Circle of Earth by Stephen Burnett releases on the 4th of March and is published by Enclave. The fight for the space mission begins in his home world. Brock Rivers never wanted to be a repairman on Mars. Years ago he failed to protect his family, and now he labours across a frontier planet to keep his children alive and escape cause. But the spacefaring humanist regime is taking over Martian colonies, forcing all to join the secular state. Back in Brock's homeworld, his people summon him to fulfill old hopes with a new dream. After decades of cultural isolation, they plan to restore missions for the 22nd century, voyaging beyond Earth to share the gospel in space. Brock must find a ship and recruit a team of misfit believers. They expect opposition from the formidable cause, but not from a more deceptive enemy. One adversary attacks from the shadows to destroy the faithful, others unify to oppose the project. Brock and his family must fight to resist these enemies of the space mission or else return to exile forever. Ember Gold by Rachel Nelson releases on the 18th of March and is published by Enclave Escape. Fire dreamed of water, but the first sip would be its last. Guild has spent her life isolated in the wild marshlands, a place too wet for the dragon to go. She's safe there, according to her father, so why is he asking her to leave with him now that she has come of age? There is more to Guild's family than she knows, and debts need to be paid. Betrayed and shattered, she wakes in a crumbling mountain castle with the beast of her nightmares, except this dragon speaks like a man and reads books. His kindness confuses her and opens a forgotten longing in her heart, all while Guild plans her escape from a mountain full of secrets. This place can unveil her past and why she was sacrificed to the beast, truth that may put both their lives in danger if they can't learn to trust each other. But how can Guild ever trust again, especially after she discovers what dragons truly are? Those were the books that I could find. Let me know in the comments if you know of any more, or let me know which ones that I've mentioned you think you're most likely to read. The ones that stood out to me as possible potentials for me and my taste would be maybe His Unforgettable Bride by Jody Hedlund and Patti Stockdale, Northargyle Abbie by Janelle Leonard, and Above the Circle of the Earth by Stephen Burnett, maybe some of the others as well. But let me know what your thoughts are on those. And I hope that you are having a fantastic reading week. If you would like to see some more videos about Christian fiction, you can watch these videos over here. And until next time, I pray God bless you and your families. Okay, bye.